What is going on, people? And welcome to the new channel. Did you guys know? I'm making a second channel for Pokemon stuff and keeping all my gaming stuff on the other channel.
Nice.
Surprise. So, welcome to the first video on the new channel. We are joined today by two very, very special guests. Joe Krabbyshack, Kingman,
What's up?
and Rollo, team build meme guy, also here.
What up? What up, everybody?
So,
We're here for Memes Dream.
oh yeah! So, today we're starting a mini-series, where we're in a draft league. I mentioned this in a couple videos, and I'm pretty sure I put it out on Twitter. Brand new draft league. It's all gonna be over here. And in that draft league, the Great Lakes Draft League, there are 3 divisions: Erie, Huron, and Superior. Rollo's in Erie, and Krabby and I are in Huron. So, for about 4 videos, we're just gonna go over the teams, give our thoughts, what we think, how it is now, how it could be, all that business, one division at a time, and then at the end, we'll do power rankings / tier list, and then we'll start doing battles and stuff. So, I hope you guys are excited. I'm really excited. And with all that said, let's just jump into it.
Yeah, bro.
Let's go.
So, first up we have the Baltimore Pangorials, coached by Panda Wannabe, and rocking with Excadrill, Tyranitar, Entei, Milotic, Aromatisse, Jellicent, Flapple, Sigilif, Togepi, and Haunter. So right off the bat, thoughts?
You also forgot Tier 5 Persian.
I did forget Persian.
You can't forget.
No.
You can't forget a Tier 5 Persian. That thing is value when it comes to tiers.
Oh yeah, it's a very strong pick. Definitely one of the best tier 5s.
Definitely. I think.
Joe, you want to start us off?
I think the Sigilith was really cool. To be honest with you, I don't really know what you're gonna use it for. Magic Guard's dope. Tinted Lens. I mean, all around, I think it's a cool team. I think a few, like y'all were saying earlier, maybe a few changes to it would make it just outrageous. But it's looking good.
Yeah. So, go ahead, man.
All right. So right off the bat, first of all, I like Joe said, I've used Sigilif before, and I really, really like it, because, like he said, with Tinted Lens, you can get a boost on, like, resisted moves. Obviously, that's what the ability does, and so it becomes a pretty potent, specially offensive threat, even with just 103, but, like, with Life Orb or Choice Specs, which is weird, but, like, it works. It can do a decent output, but I used to run this set with Magic Guard, Flame Orb, and then Cosmic Power. It was Cosmic Power, Stored Power, Roost, and Psycho Shift. Right, thank you.
Yep.
And so would just never die. And then Stored Power with all the boosts would do huge damage. So it definitely has, like, a bit of versatility. Not a ton, but, like, it has options. So I like that pick. I'm a little worried about this Flapple pick. I like Flapple a lot. By the time this video goes up, I will have picked Flapple in my own draft. I haven't done it yet. If Joe decides to snipe me, that would be not very cash money, but I don't think that he would. But 70 base speed, it doesn't fit super cleanly into Trick Room, and it also doesn't, like, it's not great for outside of Trick Room. So unless he's running like Tailwind Sigilith, which doesn't seem very reliable to me, it kinda has like the worst speed tier possible. And so it kind of feels like it needs some support that the team doesn't really have at the moment.
No, I see what
Yeah,
you're saying.
man. So, I definitely understand what you're saying. Looking over this team, like I have been for the past few minutes, I like the Sand Core of Excadrill Tyranitar, but that's two Pokemon. You have what is one of the most famous Sand Core cores right there at your top end, and then nothing else actually fits with sand. You have Entei and Melodic, which Entei is very physical, generally only does one of two things. You've got Melodic, which is a great max Pokemon.
Yeah.
You can't sleep on that. That thing can live. Competitive is fantastic. Marvel Scale is also fantastic. You could build it tanky, or you could just completely switch on a dime and make it just a special attacking monster.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of modes that are kind of clashing, you know?
Yeah.
Like you've got Melodic Jellicent and Flapple, which all wouldn't mind rain. I mean, that would be pretty sick. And then you look back up at the top, and you've got Excadrill Tyranitar. So when you start off the match, you lead Tyranitar, Excadrill. You've got the Sand Rush, Sand Force, and Sand Stream. If those two die right off the bat, you still have Sand active, and then the rest of your Pokemon are getting chipped away.
Right.
It doesn't benefit at all. So there's a couple good picks here. I mean, Aromatisse is slept on by some people. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially in a draft setting. Jellicent is big and bulky, water absorbed switch in for Excadrill Tyranitar, which is nice, but overall I feel like this team is missing some pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. Go on.
I think with a trade or two, this team could be terrifying and really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I don't think this team is going to do what this person wants as well as it really could.
Right. Yeah, I think it kind of has to, like, focus down, almost. Because, like you said, it has a lot of modes. I think if you just have, like, part sand mode, pick up, like, I don't know if it's available, but, like, pick up Dracozolt or, like, a different, like, Sand Rush user, maybe, that doesn't share weaknesses like Excadrill and Tyranitar do, and then maybe a couple more mons that work under sand, and then a couple more dedicated Trick Room mons, because like you said, Aromatisse is definitely slept on. Base 29 is really good for Trick Room, and being like a bulky screen setter, I think Aromatisse fits really well. I think Jellicent is pretty good, because again, bulky, it gets Trick Room, and it's kind of hard to kill, so I think it's a half-decent setter to be sure. And so I think it has a solid start to those two modes. I just think there are a couple mons that don't really fit in either, which is what you were saying. And so if you can switch those out for things that can abuse either of those better, I think it has a lot of potential.
Just as a heads up to the league, both Dracovish and Dracozolt are still free up on the tier list for anybody thinking sand. Don't knock it.
Yeah, both very potent picks.
I was just looking, and they're both still just kind of chilling there. And that honestly, in my opinion, if I was gonna pick a sand team, I probably Excadrill it's great, but Vicious Rin is just so much better.
It's so strong.
It's just so much better. And on top of that, I mean, Dracozolt's just as amazing. I mean, you get... the I don't know. You have just too much with the ground and rock being weaknesses, and I don't know, man. I prefer Dracovish over Excedra.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I mean, Dracovish on this team would just be gross. No, but yeah, I think Dracovish on this team would be just disgusting.
Mhm.
It could reap souls next to a Tyranitar. Honestly, I'd get rid of Excadrill for Dracovish in this scenario. Or maybe even Dracozolt because you're already pretty water heavy with Melodic and Jellicent.
Jellicent. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, that's just food for thought for the coach.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I think those are both really good picks. Obviously, but like whatever their play style is, I think just like if they commit more to what they have at the top, then they'll do pretty well.
Oh, absolutely.
Next, we have the Boise State Ursaring, coached by Indigo. Incineroar, Alolan Ninetales, Regidrago, Arctozolt, Hawlucha, Pincurchin, Alolan Raichu, Grapploct, Alolan Sandslash, Wigglytuff, and Lunatone. So, the thing that stands out to me, first and foremost, is there's kind of a lot of type repetition. Right out the gate, I see 3 ice types, 2 ground types, 2 fairy types, 2 fighting types, 2 psychic types. And like type repetition is not the worst thing in the world, but there's kind of a lot of it, and considering the biggest culprit is ice.
Yeah, I'm looking at the type matchup here. He's got a -2 in Fairy, -1 in Fighting, -3 in Ground, -2 in Rock, and -1 in Water. And that's a lot of common stuff that you're going to run into.
Yeah.
Especially Fairy and Ground, you're going to see that a lot in Draft, and that's going to tear through you.
Yeah. I really like the idea, right? You have a really good Hail Setter. Aurora Veil is fantastic. It's a really solid mon. I like Alolan Ninetales. Slush Rush on 2 mons is really good. Wigglytuff to be kind of a deterrent to Intimidate. Taking a prominent Intimidate user from other people with Incineroar. I like that. And then Pincurchin terrain helps Raichu. Electric Seed Hawlucha is an option. I like a lot of the ideas here. I just worry that common weaknesses are going to be problematic. The speed tiers are also not fantastic.
Yeah.
A lot of like weird middling stuff, and as far as I can tell, unless Hawlucha gets it for some reason, no Tailwind Setter.
Let me check. Yep, Hawlucha surprisingly on the website gets Tailwind.
Wow, that's crazy.
I don't know if that's accurate, but if it is, that's a really fast Tailwind user.
Yeah, for sure. Don't get me wrong, there is alternate forms of speed control, like I said, but
Oh yeah,
it's not like as across the board as Tailwind is. Like, it's in very selective situations.
Actually, Series 9, it does not get tail whips. But
Gotcha.
still,
Yeah. That's what I was figuring.
Yeah.
So, my biggest thing about this team, and this is where I got really disappointed. So, the number one pick for this team overall was Pinchurchin. I like Pinchurchin. Tapu Koko was still on the board. Tapu Koko, Alolan Raichu does exactly what you want a million times better.
Mm-hmm.
That is just bread and butter electric terrain, click rising voltage, and just go, okay, cool. Pinchurchin with base 15 speed. I mean, the thing, it's a good lightning rod user. Don't get me wrong. Like, you have access to lightning rod, that's good. But other than that, what is Pinchurchin going to do for you, man? You've got Alolan Raichu at 110 speed, and you've got Pinchurchin at 15. They're polar opposites. So, I mean, I know it can work. It's just, I don't think it's going to work the way this coach wants it to. I do like the Ice Core. The Alolan Ninetales, Arctozolt, and Alolan Sandslash.
Mm-hmm.
That's very scary under Light Hail.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You've got Aurora Veil, Tails. You've got Slush Rush or Snowcloak, if you really want to be funny, for Alolan Sandslash. And then you've got Arctozolt with Voltorb and Slush Rush. That's a strong core.
The thing though is, like, you know, I ran an Ice Core the season before last in the VBA, and I loved it. But the thing is Slush Rush is just kind of, in my opinion, it's not as great. I mean, you think about it, Arctozolt's base speed is 55, and it's multiplied by 2, right? With Slush Rush.
Yeah.
That's still only 110. You have things like, you know, that still, without any of this extraness, it still can outspeed it. And I mean, all it takes is one, you know, fire attack. It's really hard to use. Aurora Veil is a necessity with an ice team.
But at the same time, like, that's definitely true. But like, honestly, between the two of them, I think Alolan Sandslash is like kind of almost the same but better. Just because you have, like, it's a great max target because you have the ability to boost all of the important stats. Like, it gets max Quake and it stab max Steel Spike, and then it gets access to max Knuckle. And so I think and base 65 is not great, but under Hail it boosts to base 130, which is not only certainly nothing to sneeze at, but also, like, by far the fastest thing in his draft, and faster than really a great many other things. And so I really like that core because because it's like, it's Fairy Steel right next to each other, which is always going to be strong. And
oh yeah,
so like those two I think are fantastic. I think Arctozolt is a little redundant.
Yep.
Like, I think it definitely has potential.
I agree. I mean, for this team by itself, I mean, he doesn't have a need really ever for his lightning rod. I mean, really it doesn't, unless he's, you know, just wanting to get a boost off of it. But other than that, I mean, if you like the electric surge with the Arctozolt, if Hail's already set up, that could be dirty.
Yeah, that's true.
The
That's
thing
true.
that sticks out like a the thing that sticks out like a sore thumb on this team to me is Regidrago. You don't have the support that it needs. Regidrago has to be protected at all costs, or else the thing becomes absolutely useless. And if you lead Alolan Ninetales Regidrago and your Ninetales gets faked out, your Regidrago is going to die from that other slot. That's just, that is how it is.
Yeah,
you need a good redirector for Regidrago to work as it should. And as of right now, I'm not being a good redirector.
Right. I honestly, the thing about it is that, like, I'm looking at everything and I don't really. Sorry, let me start over. I would rather see a new dragon type than redirection, because, like, of course redirection is good, but um if you're going for, like, follow me, then all of those users are fairy type. Actually, I take back everything that I just said. This team has no grass type, and I would love to see a rage powder user, just to, like, because grass is a really important type, and to not have it or redirection, if you can take out both of those in one trade, you're probably good to go.
So I was just looking at the tier list and what's still available, and even if you were to just drop, say, Reggie, the Reggie there, if he wants a redirector, there's such solid left. Like, I mean, you've got Tangrowth in the same tier, and if you wanted to keep with your dragons, there's so many good dragons still left. There's Salamence, Duraludon. I mean, there's a Indra. I mean, there's so much here in tier 2. So if he does decide to change it up some, it's definitely, like, it's still a lot of good and available things there for him to pick up.
Right. Is Tangela still available, or did someone take that?
I believe somebody took Tangela. Let me check real quick.
I got it right here.
What tier was Tangela put in?
Tangela's been taken.
Gotcha.
It's not available. And that's something that I was even wanting, there for a while, was I was like, man, Tangela is really good. It fits my idea, but, I mean, I don't know. To me, Tangela and Tangrowth, well, I think Tangrowth is a better option than Tangela is.
The only reason I was asking is because, is Tangela in tier 3?
Tangela's tier 4.
Tangela's tier 4. Yeesh.
Let me be positive on that, but yeah, I'm pretty daggone. Well,
if it's tier 4, tier 4, drop grapple locked immediately for Tangela.
It's actually tier 3.
Okay.
Yeah, grapple locks. I've been using it, and it's been a struggle.
Yeah, like
tier 3, drop Arctozolt, get Tangela.
Right. Yeah,
You're welcome, bud.
Well, Tangle is not available, which sucks, but that is why I was asking. I think that would be a really solid trade.
You're not welcome, bud.
But yeah, like, again, I think it's a team where I like the idea. I just think there are a couple trades that should probably happen before it can really reach its full potential. Ryan, the coach of the Meltan Nuts, has been doing great work in the VBA with Soul Rock, and so I like the Lunatone pick. I think Wigglytuff is a lot of value for a tier 4. I like the Slush Rush Hail mode. I like the electric terrain stuff. I just think if you can trade, like, Grapploct for a better Pokemon that, like, fits more, and then trade, like, Arctozolt for another thing, I think this team could be really mean. I really like Incineroar. I would really like to see this coach prove a couple of disbelievers wrong with that. But yeah, like, yeah, just those two, I think if they got traded for something with more value, I think this could be a really mean team.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that the more we talked about that team, the more and more I saw kind of more of a plan. And I'm starting to like that team. But yeah, you're right. Just maybe drop a few. I think that's the way it's going to be just in general with a bunch of these teams, is if you we'll notice some stuff. Man, maybe that doesn't fit too well, and if you dropped it, this team would be scary.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, that's definitely just one of those teams. I think if you were to lose a guy or two, I think that team would just go from a 70% team to a very close to a 100% team.
Yeah. Um, because you don't need the electric type with Arctozolt. You certainly don't need the ice type. Grapploct, you don't need the fighting type. And there's some other thing that yeah. So I was starting to talk, and then I was like, oh, I'm literally just re-saying the stuff we've been saying the whole time, so there's no point. But yeah. So
And in closing, before we move on to the next coach, he doesn't need Lunatone because I needed it, so give me it.
Fair enough. That's hard to argue with.
Yeah, I'll trade you whatever you want in my tier. I got you. Give me my Lunatone.
So up next we have, is that the team name? Born in Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All
my
right.
favorite team name.
It's
in the
really
league.
cool.
And this is gonna be my friend.
Yeah, that's a really cool name. I wasn't expecting it from a team name, but I dig it. I also really like the logo. Anyway, coached by Tiny Gambit King with Galarian Moltres, Indeedee Female, Raichu, Crocodile, Slowbro, Frostlass, Orbeetle, Sceptile, Skarmory, Turtonator, and Sock.
Yeah, so right off the bat, this team is terrifying.
Yeah, I like this team a lot.
I think this is one of the best teams in the league. You've got, right off the top, you've got Galarian Moltres and Indeedee with pretty much just perfect protection on Moltres.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to deter a lot of things with the whole follow me shenanigans.
Yep.
And then you've got Lightning Rod Raichu with fake out support too.
Yeah.
You've got a good Intimidate and Moxie user in Crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
Got a good Trick Room setter in Slowbro. You've got a good Trick Room sweeper in Orbeetle, which gets slept on a lot.
Yeah.
And then you've got others like Skarmory, Turtonator that can go under Trick Room and put in some work.
Yeah.
I think this team is going to do really well this season.
Yeah. Also, a couple things to point out. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Frostlass gets Ice Shard. So that plus Sceptile with weakness policy on Burden, super strong. I love that a lot. And speaking of Frostlass, I know Intimidate and Moxie are fantastic abilities, but Frostlass gets the move. The one that it's Frost Breath crits every time.
Yeah, Frost Breath. It's an automatic critical hit.
Yeah, and so if you want to, like, the only reason I recognize this is because it's something that I thought about doing in like a regular team with like AV Max Crook into Frost Breath, Insta Crit, Max Attack, click buttons.
Yeah, that's another thing. It used to be Frostlass Tauros.
Yeah.
That people utilized, and Tauros was terrifying to deal with, and now you have an even more viable Pokemon than Tauros being Crocodile with that next to a Frostlass. That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. And then it's also really good support after that with like Will-O-Wisp primarily, but also if you encounter a Focus Sash, it gets Shadow Sneak. If disable, I guess. Just like it can do funky cheese stuff. I really like that pick.
I mean, the whole team overall, just looking through it has a lot of versatility in what it can bring. You're never going to know which 6 this person's going to bring.
Yeah.
If they don't want to bring Moltres, they don't have to, and they can still win.
Yeah.
Like, if you start off Indeedee Slowbro, and you run Follow Me Eject button Indeedee, and you get the Trick Room off with Slowbro, that's a free switch into Orbeetle, which can just max on spot and kill.
Yeah.
there's not much to discuss about this team other than it's gonna do really well.
I
agree.
This is one of the teams everybody in the Erie division needs to have on their radar, and that's just that.
Yeah.
This team is going to take a lot of 2-0 victories if it's piloted properly, and that's a problem. I can see them already being in playoffs.
I can think of one thing to discuss, which is they do have 3 psychic types. However, while that was something that I criticized 3 seconds ago for a different team, I think it's a different situation here because they all do dramatically different things. Like, this is a really versatile fighting psychic dark core because, like, obviously the fighting part of it is kind of just Sock, but that's fine because I've seen Sock do a lot of work.
Yeah.
Crocodile and Moltres do very different things, or at least they have the potential to. Moltres is a little linear, but Crocodile does, different things, and it has a little more versatility. And Deity is dramatically different from Slowbro, is dramatically different from Orbeetle. And so while that is something that I see, and I'm like, I would just bring a dark type, which is certainly an option, but like it doesn't feel like as much of a hindrance. I just think it's something that's worth pointing out because it's there, and it's something that, while I think isn't terrible, it's something that could potentially be exploited.
Yeah, I mean, the multiple same types could potentially be a problem, but the way the coach has drafted the team, he's got protection, even if he's bringing the weaknesses, which is great.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you start in DD Slowbro, something like that would hate to go up against Galarian Moltres with Fiery Wrath, but oh wait, he hasn't.
Right.
So, I think the team, although it has multiple weaknesses, I think it's still going to be able to cover itself really well.
Yeah, for sure. And just to keep on that same thing really quick, I really like the type spread, because, like, again, the triple psychic, but moving on from that, you have really solid fighting psychic dark picks. You have, honestly, a pretty solid start to the fantasy core. I really like Skarmory, Body Press, Roost. It's like budget Corviknight, but it's not super budget. I dig it. And then Turtonator, I think, is a really solid dragon. Especially under Trick Room, which is very clearly an option for him. Not having a fairy type isn't fantastic, but it's certainly something that you can deal with. And then you have a couple flying types. You have your electric type. You have your fire, water, grass. It's just, it really has a really good spread. The only thing that I would say might need a little attention is, again, a fairy type, just because it's a really important type. But other than that, I really like the types. I really like the synergy. And like you said, I think this is a very, very scary team. I agree.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this season pans out for this coach. I think they're going to go real far.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed. Sorry.
Right.
But one thing I'd like to just kind of show is I feel that the Moltres and Raichu is almost always have to bring, like, together. Like, if they come, like, we've seen it already. They do such a great job together.
Yeah. Yeah, because Ryan has Raichu, too. I forgot about that. Yeah. Very, very strong together. Like Rollo said, Lightning Rod, next to it is really good. Fake out support on it is fantastic. Erie Impulse, Volt Switch if you wanna, for a free and easy pivot into something else. Just, I really like those two together as well. Alright, up next we have the Boston Cantons, coached by Puppy, with Volcarona, Whimsicott, Galarian Zapdos, Dragalge, Registeel, Swampert, Weavile, Crustle, Heliolisk, Bronzor, and Spiritomb. I'll be the first to say it. I like this team a lot. It looks like it has at least like a pseudo-competent Trick Room mode, you know? Bronzor is a pretty good setter. Spiritomb it has a bit more offensive pressure than a lot of people give it credit for, but even outside of that, it has good support options. Crustle, Swampert, Registeel, Dragalge all can do really well under Trick Room. And then it also has a really strong not Trick Room mode. Whimsicott, of course, is one of my favorite mons to see in VGC draft, everything. I think it does really, really well. Very strong support mon. Volcarona, strong. Obviously, I don't have to explain that. Galarian Zapdos, with access to Stab, Max Airstream, and Max Knuckle, it can boost its stabs really well. Weavile can be basically whatever you want it to be. Heliolisk is a bit of an, like, outside-the-box pick, but I really like it. Strong stabs, good special attack, decent speed. And then, especially with the Tailwind support from Whimsicott, it's going to be really hard to outrun this team. And honestly, I think it's going to be hard to out-damage this team. It's got all of its important typings covered. It's got versatility. I don't know. I really dig it.
Oh yeah, I agree. I'm gonna touch back onto the Whimsicott. Man, I've been using Whimsicott this season, and I mean, although it's a great Pokemon, you get the whole prankster, you get your Tailwind, you get all your other stuff. It's really tricky to use, like really tricky to use if you don't really protect it or just have it.
So, I like the Weavile pick.
Yeah.
It gives you Ice Shard into Weakness Policy, Galarian Zapdos, which is always fun. It also gives you Ice Shard into Weakness Policy, Dragalge, just terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, the team overall, obviously, this is going to be my week 1 opponent, so I don't want to say too much about his team. But I've chatted with him on Discord here and there about picks and all that. I think his team's solid. I think there's a lot going on here. His Trick Room mode is really terrifying.
Absolutely.
Outside of Trick Room mode is not as solid. But if he can consistently get off Trick Room and put his opponents under it, I think he's going to do real well.
Yeah. For sure. Whimsicott, to touch back on that for just a second, it is tricky to use, but Tailwind is really hard to stop from it, and also it's good at increasing damage output. I mentioned this in my first VBA video. I use it next to Duraludon a lot, which is an idea that I stole from the internet, because access to Prankster fake tiers, like nothing is living a hit from Volcarona if Whimsicott gets to go for fake tiers first, and with Prankster it does. And then that same support for any other of his special attackers, and then Tailwind as well. Certainly not the easiest mon in the world to use, but it does get really good options. Also Encore, if you're feeling weird.
The only thing that I'd like to point out is only fake out users Weavile. So if you don't lead Weavile Whimsicott, somebody could just fake out your Whimsicott turn 1, stop the tailwind, break the sash, and then immediately kill it.
That's true.
So
yeah, I've seen it happen.
That's something to definitely keep an eye out for.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah, but sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's true. That's happened to me quite a few times trying to utilize Whimsicott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so of course there are answers to that. It's just something you have to keep an eye on, because if it catches you off guard, you're definitely in trouble. Yeah, I honestly really like the team a lot.
Yeah, I'm super excited to play against this team right off the bat. I think this is probably one of my favorite teams to look at overall.
Yeah.
And we still have like 2 weeks till the beginning of the league, but just looking over this team and kind of theory crafting my team against it, there's definitely some roadblocks here that I'm running into personally that I really like. So
Yeah.
I'm excited, but I also might get swept by homie, so
feel that.
We'll find out. Stay tuned for next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah. Also, I like Swampert. That's the whole sentence. I have no more analysis on it. I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, Swampert's solid, but I mean, obviously it has one glaring weakness. So
Yeah, absolutely.
if he can get it, I'm not gonna say, Poppy, I'm not gonna give you everything. You gotta earn that. But yeah, no, Swampert's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Yeah, solid team. And the next team is the Cali Ninjas, coached by Wonder Boy 2Ys, with Cinderace, Clefairy, Landorus Incarnate, Corviknight, Gengar, Toxtricity, Mr. Mime, Galar, Piloswine, Wailord, Bulbasaur, and Eevee. So
right off the bat, I like the team. Wasted his tier 5 slots right off the bat.
Yeah.
How many people in the Erie division I saw slept on tier 5, and that is the biggest problem in the division, because there are still so many solid tier 5 types that are available, and to overlook those and to pick niche things like Bulbasaur and Eevee, that's just, it doesn't give you your team overall versatility and whatnot, because if you bring Bulbasaur or Eevee against any of the coaches in this league, you're gonna get bodied.
Yeah.
That is it is.
Yeah, like I know that Eevee gets Helping Hand, but they're better Helping Hand users. If we were still in Z moves time, then that would be different, but like we're not. And it's between Eevee and Pikachu, just because like they're comparable in my brain, because they're both like not fully evolved but have G-Max forms. Pikachu's is good because you get Light Ball to really boost its offensive stuff, and its max move guarantees paralysis on both Pokemon, which is really strong. Eevee G-Max move sucks. It doesn't have stats to back it up. I don't really understand the pick because, like I said, the only thing that it really has going for it is Helping Hand, which is, like, it's not like Follow Me, where you kind of only have, like, 3 options, or 4 options. Like, Helping Hand is pretty widely distributed. So, I don't really see the point of having that. And speaking of not seeing the point, Ivysaur is literally just Bulbasaur better stats, so I don't really understand that pick either.
Yeah, I mean, let me real quick just look into the tier list for tier 5 that's still available for the Erie division. So you still have, if you wanted a grass type, I mean, you've got Grookey. Grookey's okay. You've got Maractus. Maractus is fantastic, tier 5. You've got Galarian, Unfisk outside of grass. You've got Whiscash. You've got Throw, Sudowoodo, you've got Solrock, Shuckle, regular Rotom, Galarian Rapidash. You've got Mawile, Magneton, Magmar, Galarian Lanoon. Like, there's so many solid picks that you have at your disposal. And it's kind of a shame because the rest of the team is solid.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, this team is scary. It is a threat, and nobody should be scoffing at it.
Right.
But it's going to be two-dimensional at most because of the wasted tier 5s.
Yeah.
You cannot viably bring Eevee and Bulbasaur, so nobody will ever prep for them. And even if they don't prep for them, they're not strong enough to carry.
Right.
One thing I will point out, though, I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential G-Max users.
Yep. No, I saw that. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I dig it.
Something he can
So you've
definitely
got,
utilize.
yeah.
Do not.
Yeah, because you've got Toxtricity, Gengar, you've got Corviknight, and Cinderace. So you're looking at 4 separate Pokemon that can G-Max in your face. That's a problem.
And then
You
also,
are not-
Eevee, but please don't max Eevee, please.
Yeah, no, that's why I didn't even bother counting Eevee.
Yeah.
His tier 5s, or the tier 5s need to be switched. I mean,
honestly, I think Maractus could be a really good choice, just because, like, it's a better grass type than Bulbasaur, and Storm Drain is good, considering he has up to 3 water weaknesses.
especially on main Pokemon. It's not 3 water weaknesses overall. It's Pokemon that he is going to rely on to carry his team.
Yeah.
You need to protect those.
Yeah.
If you put Maractus next to Cinderace, it's even harder to kill than it already is.
Yeah.
Well, and that's it. If he puts Maractus next to Cinderace, and he could go Chlorophyll and just then start hitting things super hard with the Cinderace after a max flare, and then, of course, like I said, that Chlorophyll will go off, and then he'll be able to start hitting things super fast and super hard with the Maractus.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I like the team overall, but the tier 5s are really just, I hate to keep harping on them, but that is a big waste of just end of the draft picks. They do nothing.
Yeah.
Tier 5, you want them to be supportive lower tier Pokemon. You want them to even be closers. I mean, I've got a good tier 5 Pokemon that I'm not going to spoil that can theoretically come in and sweep for me. I can't say the same thing about Bulbasaur and Eevee. But other than that, aside from that, I really like the team. Clefairy, obviously, Friend Guard is going to make things a pain in the ass to kill. We all know that. Shout out to Clefable, the best redirector. But, I mean, overall, it's a pretty solid team. It's just got a lot of... You can literally put any of these next to Clefairy. You've got Cinderace, Lando Eye, Corviknight, Gengar, Toxtricity. You can theoretically put all of those next to Clefairy and just do a 2 Pokemon sweep. It's fundamental. And it's as 1, 2, 3 as VGC gets. Yeah.
I am a little worried about, like you said, Clefairy next to anything is really strong. But aside from that, I don't know what else you really do. It seems pretty one-dimensional. Strong, to be certain, but only in, like, the one way. And so that worries me a little bit. He's also missing some important types of... He has, like, I know that Dragon is part of the Fantasy Core. I honestly don't think it's that important, but, like, no fighting type, no dark type, no... at the moment, effectively no grass type.
Yeah.
And so it's like...
The team is really not defensive at all.
Right, yeah.
So that could be, again, I'm sorry to keep bringing it up, it could be because of the tier 5 picks. But if you're looking at the total defenses, you're looking at 737 physical and 775 special.
Yeah.
Which means if you are not going hyper offensive, kill everything with this team, your team is not going to be able to take a hit for crackback, and that's going to put you in a big problem.
Yeah.
This is a very glass cannon team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can get your fighting. Pretty much Cinderace is kind of a multi-tool. That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I mean, you don't get any grass out of it. You get your fighting. You get a couple of other things, but other than that, that's literally it. I mean, yeah, y'all are right.
Yeah, and with your only Tailwind setter at base 67 speed, you don't really have much speed control either. And so even if you bring like a hyper offense team, you're still pretty susceptible to just getting blown up before you can do the same to them.
Yeah. I mean, overall, the team has some weak points, but you can't sleep on it. I mean,
Definitely
this
has.
team is a few trades away from being good.
Yeah.
Like, real good.
Yeah, definitely has potential, needs to trade into that potential.
Get Maractus. Drop Bulbasaur, get Maractus. As soon as you watch this video and as soon as you see the three of us talking about your team, if you want, you should drop Bulbasaur in Erie trade and pick up Maractus, and I will heart react it as soon as I see it, because that is a solid pickup for you.
Yeah. Oh, also, do not bring screens against this man. It will not work.
No, it won't.
Yep,
I was going to bring that up a minute ago. Yeah, it's not working.
Yeah, no. He says no screens. Goodbye. Screen cleaner and Corviknight max move? Crazy. Anyway. Up next, we have the Chicago Cubfoos. Love the mascot. I love Cubfoo. One of my favorite mons. Not to use. I just think he's cool. Anyway, coached by the Toaster, with Urshifu Rapid Strike, Rhyperior, Silvally, Tornadus Therian, Alchemy, Nidoqueen, Weezing, Electivire, Oranguru, Cleffa, and Corsola.
Okay. Question, real quick.
Yeah.
So, Valley, that's going to be a pain in the arse to prep for.
Yes. It is a bit tricky, though, because if you want it to be a different type, you're giving up your item slot.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Not being able to know its type going into, like, prep or the battle, it definitely throws a wrench into things, but as long as you're ready for it, it isn't necessarily impossible to get around, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, 95 base in every stat is nothing to scoff at with being able to switch the types. So that seems like a Pokemon you can reliably switch types.
Yeah.
You can go,
Dude.
I need a poison type to cover my opponent's best two Pokemon. I better bring Silvally.
Right, yeah.
The craziest thing about it, too, is just looking at it, even in its normal form. Its move pool is just crazy. I mean, there's a little bit of everything here.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a
So-
solid pick.
I agree.
This is the coach that picked Alchemy #1 overall and instantly made me go, what in the hell? And now I'm turning around and I'm seeing the team finalized. And I want this to be on video. I apologize because I didn't know what in the flying hell you were doing picking Alchemy first. And now looking at this team comp, aside from Cleffa, which doesn't get follow me, this is terrifying. Just don't bring neutralizing gas Weezing next to RKS system Silvally.
Oh, this this team's actually nothing to cough at.
I really like the trick room mode here. Here's the thing. First of all, I have said this a million times, and I'll say it a million more times. I think Oranguru is a really slept-on Trick Room setter. It isn't the bulkiest thing in the world, but it's pretty bulky, especially if you're running the correct spread. And if you have Inner Focus and, like, Mental Herb, they can't stop you.
No.
Yeah, as you and I discussed while Erie Division was drafting, I really wanted Oranguru for my team.
Mm-hmm.
Oranguru is solid, and Instruct is just
Yeah.
so fun to click.
Yeah.
It's literally just, oh, you survived by like a sliver and I have to wait till next turn? No.
Yeah.
And the thing is just, it's overall good.
Yeah.
It's normal psychic, so its ghost weakness is not there.
Mm-hmm.
It's only weak to, Dark and Bug?
Yep.
Yeah, so having one uncommon and one common weakness in draft is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because there's not too many coaches that just draft straight up bug types. I mean, obviously other Pokemon get access to bug moves, but
yeah.
For the sake of the conversation, I think Oranguru's one of the, if not the best, low-tier Trick Room users, period.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree.
I want it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If Instruct worked on max moves, Oranguru would be broken. But, like, even though it doesn't, still really strong. Anyways, so I really, really like that pick. And then I am a really big fan of Weakness Policy Rhyperior. Because you reduce the damage that you take from the move, and then you proc Weakness Policy. Very difficult to underspeed. And you've got, like, not the most reliable ways of proccing it, but, like, I don't think Corsola gets Aqua Jet, but if it does, that's a good thing. Urshifu Rapid Strike definitely does. Very scary to click Aqua Jet off of that into your own guy, but still. And then Alchemy, if you're running min speed, 64 is not fantastic, but, like, it's manageable. And then Decorate, of course, is really good to buff up whatever you're next to.
Yeah, the only thing is he doesn't have any fake out pressure on the team.
Oh,
so,
true.
Theoretically speaking, if somebody wants to double into your Trick Room setter, there's not much you're going to do about it.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop that. And, I mean, it might not be as important because the team's got some solid heavy hitters up front, but without that fake out Trick Room, making it a 1v1 when it comes to trying to knock out the Trick Room user before it goes off, that's kind of important.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's do or die, but it's definitely something you always just want to have tucked away in the back pocket if need be.
Absolutely, yeah.
What do y'all think about this Electivire pick?
I
love Electivire from season 1 of the VBA.
Yeah, I really like it.
It is underrated and it can be a monster.
Yeah.
Okay. In the instance of it being there, I mean, I see 2 reasons it's here, and that's probably with Tornadus and Urshifu to help them kind of as a switch in for if you know that some sort of electric move is coming.
Yeah. I would like to see more value out of the tier 5s, which you already said. I have zero faith in Corsola, like, at all. And then if Cleffa doesn't get Follow Me, then because
there are
like
just too many good Pokemon, and Corsola has its niches. Like, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's a bad pick. Corsola's fun. I've used it before.
I'll say
Cleffa
it.
Is just Cleffa. I mean, it gets Friend Guard, but that might be the only reason why you picked it. Is to just run Eviolite Friend Guard just so the other Pokemon can live, but that's not worth it.
Yeah.
At all.
And
Because people are just gonna like, if I go up against you and you lead something in Cleffa, knowing Cleffa doesn't get Follow Me, you can have that Cleffa.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm not touching it.
I
will make you one for me with Cleffa, and you will not like that.
Yeah. I was about to say essentially the same thing. To steal a term from Wolf Glick, it has All My Friends Are Dead syndrome, where it's like, oh, this thing exerts no form of pressure in any way, shape, or form, so I'm literally just going to hit the thing next to it, and then when we get to the end, it's like, whatever, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. At that point, you're left stranded on an island without a boat or a paddle.
Right. And so, yeah, I would like to... And also, you already have a fairy type, a pure fairy type, so that part seems a little redundant. And so it's like, I would love to see that get traded away. I like Wheezing. I think that either that or Nidoqueen could potentially get traded away. Just because... Actually, Nidoqueen.
Don't sleep on Nidoqueen.
I'm sleeping on Nidoqueen. But I know that it gets... I'm aware that it gets Sheer Force, but, like, it just... Realistically, you can trade it out for, like, a better ground type, because in terms of doing poison stuff, it doesn't really do anything that Wheezing can't do. Like, and of course it gets coverage, but, like, base 75 special attack and base 92 attack isn't bad. I don't know. It's there. What I've been trying to get at without saying it for like 5 minutes, he doesn't have a steel type, and I'm not a fan. I think steel is a really important type, and to see a team without one, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, steel is just one of my favorite types, and definitely extremely important in draft.
Yeah.
Because there's only so many answers. And having a solid steel type gives you openings not only to a fantasy core, but also to most likely an overall good defensive Pokemon that can crack back 10 times harder.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you were saying it earlier that it looks like he could use a really good discharge guy, you know? Well, sitting right there in that tier, the same tier as that, you have Magnezone.
You also have Magneton in tier 5 that you can get rid of. Cleffa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, Nidoqueen has like y'all said, its little niches. I mean, it's a great, if you can do some stuff with it, I think if I were to run it, it'd probably be my max target if I were to run it for any reason.
Right.
Other than that, that's about all I would bring it for.
Don't sleep on Nidoqueen. I'll tell you that much. You've seen me use Nidoqueen before next to a Butterfree and just demolish people with it. So,
but other than that, I think that his team is very nice.
Yeah, overall, I think the team is cool.
Definitely.
I mean, up top, it's a lot of power. In the middle, it's really good support. Down bottom, it's a bummer, but that can be changed. Right. I mean, overall, I think this is a top contender in the league for sure.
Yeah, something that I've noticed in the past couple of seconds about this team, it doesn't like psychic types and it doesn't like ground types. Because, like, those two types cover Urshifu, Rhyperior, Nidoqueen, Wheezing if it's not Levitate, Electivire, and Corsola. And so...
Yeah, there's definitely a big hole in the armor there that can be exploited real easily.
But yeah, like you said, Rhyperior is great under Trick Room, and you can just really put in some power. That's a really good powerhouse on it.
Yeah, because the other parts of the top end, you've got Urshifu, and then you've got Rhyperior. So you got two sides of the same coin. You've got one that works out of Trick Room, one that works under.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. I would really like to see Silvally come as mostly Silvally Dark. Because, like, if I'm looking at the like I said, it's weak to psychic and ground, but when you look at the things that are weak to each of those types, that psychic weakness is significantly more prominent than the ground weakness, and so bringing Silvally as an immunity to that, I think, would be really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I can agree with that. Yeah, but I think this team's going to go far as long as they play it right.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say.
If they can patch up, like, just one or two things, it definitely can do really, really well. I dig it.
Get rid of Cleffa.
Next we have the Lake Erie Wishy-Washies. Speaking of mascots that I love, Wishy-Washy is really, really rad. Okay, we have not said this about anything else. All the logos are really cool. I love this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this logo is well crafted and it's just so beautiful to look at.
It's so cool. Anyway, coached by Hungry Hippo with Thundurus Incarnate, Arcanine, Blastoise, Hydreigon, Vanillux, Galarian Weezing, Archeops, Alolan Dugtrio, Gallade, Trevenant, and Garbodor.
I hate Vanillux. I hate it. I hate it with all of my heart. It is the worst designed Pokemon ever. That's all I'm saying about this whole team.
Hard disagree. I love Vanillux. I think it's cool. And he looks like he's having a good time.
I hope he gets eaten.
Damn.
I'm not the biggest vanilla person. Then.
Right off the bat, you've got Alolan Dugtrio into Gallade, Arcanine, beat up Justified. I mean, that's as good of a straight up core. You've also got Thundurus Incarnate, whatnot. Do not sleep on Blastoise. Blastoise in Tier 2 is disgusting.
I am not.
Joe will tell you about me and a time when I had G-Max Blastoise. That thing is a menace. Especially next to Prankster Thundurus. That can help support and make sure it kills everything.
Yeah. Although I freaking hate Blastoise, I have to agree with that.
Good times, buddy. Good times.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I've lost more games in my entire life to either Blastoise or Venusaur. To where now at this point, I don't even like to look at them.
Fair enough.
So, looking over this team, they've got the Fantasy core in Alolan Dugtrio, Galarian Weezing, and Hydreigon.
Yeah.
And they have Fire, Water, Grass with Arcanine, Blastoise, and Trevenant. Both of those are solid.
Yeah.
Those two cores are... That's a problem.
Yeah.
And the fact that this person got all of these things on the same list. Next to Archeops, next to Gallade, Thundurus Incarnate. Even down bottom, Garbodor. Dog.
Don't sleep.
Explosion. Let's go.
Especially next to, like, Trevenant. Dude.
What do you do? What do you do against that?
Yeah. They have... Like, I'm big on types. I don't know if you can tell, considering I talk about it every single time. They have all the important ones. They have the 6 that you mentioned. They have Fighting Psychic Dark in Hydreigon and Gallade. And then they have Electric in Thundurus and Ground in Dugtrio and Flying in Archeops. They have, I think, I could be wrong. I think they have every type except, like, Bug.
Yeah, I mean, this team comp is hats off to them. You know, this is a perfect draft scenario. If this is what this person was gunning for from top to bottom, I do not see a bad pick. Like, going through the entire 11, I think each and every one of these Pokemon has a role on the team to where they can consistently bring a random 6 and it will work.
Absolutely.
There's no one Pokemon that you leave in the back all the time that goes 0, 0, and 0 throughout the season, because everything can come and everything has its role. And that's terrifying in a draft.
Absolutely.
Definitely did not. I definitely did not know that Archeops was as fast as it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's literally just a dive bomb.
And
It goes fast and it goes burr as fast as it can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Base 140. It's
Wow. This team is really good. This is a team. I'm excited to see if he brings Garbodor because I have not seen it played.
It's
and just even in its own, Stench as a freaking ability can save games.
Yeah. And
well, that and its slept on max move poisons both opponents' Pokemon.
Yeah.
True.
Not too many people know Garbodor because nobody uses Garbodor.
Right.
But when you look over its max move, it hits and then it poisons both sides. You go, now you're on a clock.
Yeah.
And you have to beat me in that clock or you lose, period. Putting an opponent on a clock is always funny and it's always effective if you have the bulk behind it. And this team has the bulk behind it.
Yeah. And honestly, I think Garbodor is a better max target than people really give it credit for. Because if you can find a way to boost its attack, which, I mean, there are plenty of ways, especially in VGC, then you max, and, if you wanted to run, weakness policy on it, and proc it with something, I don't know what, it doesn't matter, then all of a sudden you're +2 attack, and if you're running weak armor, you're +2 speed as well.
You also have 4 helping hand users, an Arcanine, Blastoise, Gallade, and Hydreigon that can just sit right next to it and click helping hand and then go, yeah, I'm going to help this pile of garbage, turn you into a pile of garbage.
Yeah. And then, speaking of move users, does Gallade get Fake Out?
It
does not.
It does not.
It does not.
But Blastoise does.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you
Blastoise
have access to it. I'm a really
Pretty
big fan of this team.
positive this team goes burr. It's gonna be hard to beat.
Dog, even if you want, you can do Gallade with Vacuum Wave next to Weakness Policy, Max, Alolan, and Doug Trio. It has so many modes.
Yeah.
And I love it. Honest to God, I think this might be the number 1 and number 2 team at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I don't see people stepping in front of this bus and stopping it.
Yeah. It's very, very good. I'm a really big fan of this.
Except for that stupid ice cream.
No, you know what? Here's what I think. Max Ice Cream. Like you said, Vacuum Wave on Gallade, right? It's just like I said for Garbodor, except on Vanillux. Weak armor, +2 speed, +2 special attack off of base 110, and then you just go burr, pun intended.
If we fight during the regular season and that's what they bring, Raz, you and I are fist fighting IRL. And you don't want that. You don't want that.
You're sure right, I do not.
He does that, right? And then he has the perfect. He just get Gallade out, put in Arcanine, and you just took away your main weakness to Vanillite.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is really good. It's really good. It fits very well. He has hardly any he actually has 1, 2, 3 negative weaknesses. One being rock, he's -2, ice -1, and ghost -1. Everything else, he looks amazing at. +5 at bug, +5 at grass, +3 at normal. This team is nothing. Nothing to fuck with. It's legit gonna come after you.
Yeah.
The best way to get rid of that -2 rock weakness is get rid of the ice cream.
Don't do it. I wanna see it.
I want to see it against somebody else. If it happens to me, Raz, IRL.
Do it.
I'm not gonna lie, Raz.
Do it.
If he
Bring
gets
it
blown
against
back
him.
by Vanillite, I'll give you $100.
Oh, word?
Oh,
Yes. If he gets 2-0'd and the max target is Vanillite, I will give you $100 and this dude $100.
Oh,
Hungry
please.
Hippo.
Please.
If you show up
Do
to
it.
battle me and you bring Max ice cream, I promise you're gonna regret it.
It will work. Please do it.
Unfriend, you will rue the day.
It will be amazing. Please do it.
You will, Raz. You'll end up looking just like my logo. Speaking of logos, moving on.
Moving on. Next we have the Mass Magic Harps. And
Segway.
even as it's like popping up on my screen, honestly, this team sucks. Big garbage. Worst team, double F tier. Nothing more to say. We can probably move on. Just garbage, trash team. On to the next one, right? This, honestly, if I'm completely honest with you, this looks like the kind of team that would lose to Max Vanillux.
Now, I want to move on to my favorite team in the league. The Ninjazards.
Oh, yeah.
This team is coached by Ed, and listen to this lineup. This dude has Rillaboom, Zapdos, Inteleon, Politoed, Aerodactyl, Runerigus, Kabutops, Klinklang, Torracat, Greedent, Dedenne. I don't think in any scenario that he does not go 10-0 in this league.
I mean, we found... So, first of all...
goes
I found where Klinklang went.
Yeah, it's on my favorite team. You think I would have known that.
Kabutops sleeper pick. Swift Swim, base 115. Good. Strong.
Torracat, one of, if not the top tier 4 picks. That thing is brutal.
Yeah, it's good.
Great for what it does. Greedent, I guess, is low budget Snorlax. I don't know. I've never used it. I've never seen anybody use it. I'm excited to see how he uses it. Same with Dedenne.
Oh, I love Dedenne.
I think Dedenne is adorable.
Yeah, me too.
I've never used it, unfortunately. But I think it'll be really funny to watch him max Dedenne in somebody's face. Better happen, by the way. I'm calling it now. Week 7, right? Yeah, week 7. Max Dedenne.
Is that when he fights you?
No. He bodies me week 3, I believe. Yeah, I play him week 3. Week 7, he plays the Cub Foos. I want you to bring Max Dedenne against the guy with the fucking ice cream.
I don't know. I think Dedenne loses to ice cream pretty hard. Anyway,
I think you're gonna lose to me.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, I've run Dedenne before. I like it a lot. I think it's well, mice like cheese, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, I like the team a lot. A couple more water weaknesses than I personally would have on a rain team, but also some resistances, so that's not a huge deal.
Now, question.
Yeah.
The abilities plus and minus. It doesn't work if it's 2 plus Pokemon, right? It has to be a plus and a minus. It can't be a plus and a plus.
I think it has to be a plus and a minus, yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say Dedenne, Klinklang, double plus Big Pog.
Well, Klinklang gets minus.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
It gets
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. I called the cool tech without even being smart enough to realize it.
I didn't even think about that. That's crazy.
This is how my brain works, and I hate it. I think of stupid stuff that I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, and then it just ends up being kind of cool.
No, that's awesome. I've literally never used either of those abilities. So it's really cool that it has potential for that here.
Yeah, that he actually has... See, I told you this is my favorite team.
That's crazy.
But no, yeah. I mean, overall, I think this team is just stupid strong. We all know how strong Rillaboom is. Zapdos under a rain team is gross. Inteleon is fast. Politoed, yeah, I get it. So you can spam Hurricanes with non-max Zapdos and all that. It weakens
Hurricane
the fire
and
for
Thunder.
Rillaboom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, having Inteleon and Politoed both at tier 2 for me, that's the only kind of thing where I'm like, do you really need both of them, or do you keep Politoed as a rain setter and then go back into tier 2 and drop Inteleon off and pick up something else that could help cover or help sweep as well?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing to scoff at on this team, but for some reason to me, Politoed and Inteleon just, it doesn't do it for me.
You know what doesn't really do it for me?
Ice cream?
No, Aerodactyl. I think it's redundant, and I don't think it's necessary. Yes, it's a fast Tailwind setter, but honestly, Tailwind doesn't really seem necessary to me here. And it's another water weakness. It doesn't give any new typings or coverage or whatever. I like Aerodactyl as a pick. I think you could get more value out of a different Pokemon in that slot. Other than that, that and Inteleon, I think this is a really, really good, very scary team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just excited to see how it'll go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, let's move on to the next one. Let's get these going.
Yes, sir.
Got 3 teams left?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Got a little doctor's appointment here after a while.
Oh, no, you're good, man.
Gotcha.
So, I'll rapid fire read this. So, we've got the Ohio Oshawotts, coached by SF Paul. You got Togekiss, Venusaur, Comfey, Pheromosa, Reuniclus, Talonflame, Drapion, Riolu, Seaking, Lopunny, and Stunfisk. And right off the bat, I see Togekiss and Comfey.
Yeah.
And a Venusaur. And I want to know where the Sun Setter is for Venusaur.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, Togekiss is good, Comfey is good. You don't need both.
Right.
You really don't.
Is it Talonflame or the other one? Yeah, it's Talonflame, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't have anything with Drought. He doesn't have Torkoal, doesn't have Ninetales. So you have to actually sit there and waste a turn setting up the Sun.
Wait, let me check something.
I mean, that's true.
That's what makes Venusaur Torkoal so good, is you bring both of them and you have fast Venusaur up top, which kills something, and then you have Torkoal down bottom, which cleans up for it. I mean, this right here, it's like, yeah, you have...
I found the Sunsetter.
Yeah, you have Togekiss and Venusaur, which can do Follow Me and Sleep Powder, Follow Me, Max Move, and all that, and that's good, but...
I found the Sunsetter.
Venusaur works best in the sun.
I found it. I got it.
Dude.
It's Riolu.
Prankster Sunny Day?
Yep.
I'd rather have something that just has Drought. Then you just waste a turn.
That's fair, but as an avid Purloin Liepard supporter, I think that Prankster Sunny Day is still very viable. However, I do think that, you could swap Comfey out for, like, Ninetales if you don't want to get rid of Togekiss. Or you could get rid of Togekiss for Torkoal, either one.
One thing I will say, though, and it's really hard for me because I'm very biased when it comes to Comfey. I love it. Like, legit, if you have a Dragon type on your team, it's amazing.
Which he does not have.
Right.
I know it. It can make a world of a difference because you get priority healing in general. So that even counts as Draining Kiss.
Yep.
floral healing,
Mm-hmm.
like
Giga Drain.
Giga Drain, any of those, you always go first, and it is great.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that makes Comfey so great is pairing it against something that's weak to fairy or weak to grass and having that +3 priority. He
Mhm.
doesn't have that, you know. He doesn't have a dragon type or a water type or something like that. It's just he has Comfey.
But no, that's just me. I like Comfey, but other than
Mhm.
that, it really doesn't fit much on this team.
Well, I
Yeah,
also
I think it's just a niche pickup that
I-
he wanted Comfey, so
yeah.
he got it.
I also really like Comfey. I think he would have to make a couple changes, and honestly, the only thing that I think kind of doesn't fit in this team, I love Reuniclus. It's hard to support without Trick Room, and he has no Trick Room mode. Like, it can use Trick Room, but everything else is too fast, except for like Riolu and Stunfisk. But if you're running a Trick Room team and those are your Trick Room abusers, you're not in a great spot. It's
The
not.
Trick Room here is lackluster at best.
Yeah, I think I really like Reuniclus. It's kind of like Aerodactyl. I think it's a good Pokemon. I don't think it finds a lot of value on this particular team.
Yeah.
I think he could trade it for something that would do more for him.
Oh, absolutely. There are definitely some things that are still open that a lot of coaches could pick up.
Yeah.
This
For
is
sure.
no exception, but I like the direction the team's going in.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like we said with earlier teams, I think it has a lot of potential. It just needs a couple trades to get all the way to the finish line. So the Superlax, coached by R2, Colossal, Primarina, Rotom Wash, Virizion, Dusknoir, Sneasel, Vikavolt, Golduck, Purloin, Doublade, and Fletchling. Right off the bat, I see some things that I really like. I like Primarina Colossal. I think it's definitely really good, and that's a very scary thing to see on the same team. Sneasel beat up into Virizion, I really like. Dusknoir can set Trick Room, which can be exploited by, like, Vikavolt, Doublade, Purloin, like I said, avid supporter of that pick. I think it has a lot of really good support options, especially with Prankster. But on the other side of things, I think there are some picks that could be better used. Like, I get what the Fletchling pick is coming from, but it's similar to the Bulbasaur thing, where if that's really what you're going for, Fletchinder is in the same tier, and it's just the same but better.
Fletchinder actually got taken.
Okay.
So I respect it, but there were other tailwind setters that are better than Fletchling.
Yeah. Like,
But
yeah, like, I get that he's shooting for one from tier 5. However, I think that, similar to Aerodactyl and Reuniclus, I think Rotom Wash is a little redundant here. I think the value that it gives is already given in other spots. I think you could trade Rotom Wash for a better Tailwind setter, trade Fletchling for a better tier 5, and then trade Golduck for a better Pokemon.
yeah, if you make those 3 trades, you are top tier in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You have the perfect Coal core.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the perfect Virizion core.
Yep.
And just all over. If you make those 3 trades that Raz just suggested, rapid fire, I think you could take this league by storm,
Yeah.
no problem.
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody knows the story of Cole and how disgusting it is.
Yep.
Virizion is always the 3rd best of the horse, deer, dog,
The
core,
Musketeers.
whatever. Yeah, the Musketeers.
Yeah.
Sure, I hate things. But yeah, I mean, Virizion, that's one that I was looking at. I was also looking at Terrakion because I had Celestial. I didn't want Cobalion.
Right.
Virizion is good, but its physical move pool is okay. You know, it's not the most wide open. It's generally going to run the same 4 to 5 to maybe top 6 moves, and that's it. You have to bring it justified. You really want to proc it, and if not, I mean, it does damage. It just doesn't do the damage you want. I definitely. Go ahead.
I would have to disagree in this case, only for this reason. I think it gets a couple really, really solid stab moves. Beat up putting it at +4 is really strong.
Right.
And then its speed is good. And it also, like, 108 isn't perfect, it's decent, but it also gets access to aerial ace or bounce. So I think it's a really good max target in this particular instance. Of course, it's really weak to flying moves on its own, but it also gets, like, Stone Edge, I believe. Yeah. And so you can hit flying types and fire types. Like you said, it is pretty linear. Not a ton of variance in what it's going to bring. But I think regardless of that, it still has a lot of potential to do a lot of work.
I mean, it's definitely something I'm interested in seeing. And it's also weak to ice, so you can ice shard even if you don't want to do the whole justified thing. Or if you do, and then you just want to get like the big screw you at the top of the cake, you can do turn 1 beat up into Virizion and then turn 2 ice shard into its weakness policy. Like, just to really nail it home.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the Rotom Wash, as much as I love Rotom Wash, as much as it is just a fundamentally good Pokemon overall, it doesn't fit. You've got Primarina already. I would pick up a different tier 2 that covers other things that you need, like Tailwind.
Right, yeah.
I mean, there's still some solid tier 2 Pokemon, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look real quick once this loads. Yeah. You've got Galarian Articuno, you've got Braviary, you've got Drifblim, Unburdened Drifblim. Next to Ice Shard, Sneasel.
True.
And I think that is about it.
Of those,
I mean,
personally, I would go with Galarian Articuno because it gives you a really strong fighting Psychic Dark thing, and but Drifblim is also a really good pick for the reasons that you said. So yeah, Rotom Wash for one of those, and then Fletchling for a solid tier 5. I would trade Golduck for like a solid Trick Room Mon, because you have like good Trick Room potential. Primarina can do okay under Trick Room. Like, obviously, it's 60 isn't exactly what you want, but if someone isn't prepped for Trick Room, you can still underspeed all of their stuff. Dusknoir is a really good setter. Vikavolt, super strong under Trick Room. Doublade is really strong as well. And then I think one more to really even it out and, like, hit it home. I think that would be a really strong pick. And with those, like you said earlier, with those three, this team is already scary. With those three things, potentially unstoppable, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of good Trick Room stuff here in Tier 4. There's a Alolan Executor still just sitting there.
Right.
There's Golurk, Gourgeist. Oh, go, buddy. Come on. Yeah, I mean, there's still just a bunch of good stuff just sitting in all the tiers, honestly. I mean, obviously, this is a 12-person draft, so there's more open than what we're accustomed to with the 16.
Right.
But there's still a bunch of stuff that got just left open for the picking.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
I don't know. I think the team with a couple trades could become a team that I don't want to look at.
Yeah.
because it's too scary to for.
Absolutely, I agree.
And this, oh yeah, of course, I play them week 8 after they make all the trades that you and I are suggesting. That's good.
Oh, sweet.
That's
Amazing.
great. All right, we are on to the last team here.
We sure are. The West Coast Braviaries, coached by, scroll, Jaden, 1200. Um, with Dragapult, Terrakion, Gyarados, Bisharp, Gardevoir, Rotom-Mow, Tangela, Magmortar, Rhydon, found where Fletchinder went, and Walrein. Right out the gate, the first thing I see is beat up team number 2, Dragapult into Terrakion. Big fan of that.
Yep. I mean, it's as bread and butter as you can get up at the top. You've got Dragapult, Terrakion, beat up, justified Terrakion sweep. That's just as plain Jane as possible. The one thing that I don't care for is Gyarados. I mean, Intimidate and Moxie, both great. Water Flying, good mix, but I just haven't seen Gyarados used properly in so many years that it just seems like a wasted tier 2, where you could have picked up something a hell of a lot stronger to finish out that top 4.
Yeah. I have seen Gyarados used properly. I think it's a good pick. It's hard to use. It's not like, oh, Gyarados is amazing and it's free. It's not. But if you can pull it off, it's very, very good. If you need ideas for it, you can hit me up. I use Gyarados a lot, and so I have thoughts. I like it. I also like how many important types they have right at the top. Dragon, Ghost, Fighting, Water, Steel, Dark, Fairy, Psychic, all right there. And then Tangela, I think
another thing is don't sleep on Rotom-Mow. Rotom-Mow is very, very underrated in draft, and if I'm not mistaken, it gets screens.
Yes, it does.
That thing is hard to deal with. That thing is surprisingly bulky, just like every other Rotom form, and it can put in some work.
Yeah, 100%. Very, 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 not very versatile, but pretty versatile. It can, because of course it gets screens, it also gets Taunt, Thunder Wave, so it can be a really solid support pick. But also with access to Nasty Plot, Electric coverage, Grass coverage, Ghost coverage, base 105 special attack, especially after a Nasty Plot like that, very strong. If you can get some speed support on it, which you can with Fletchinder, that's definitely a really scary pick.
Yeah. I mean, you lead Fletchinder, Rotom, and you just tailwind into a screen. Boom. You're good.
Yeah, for
At
sure.
At that point, you're hurting right off the bat, and that's good stuff. I mean, you and I both know Dragapult is a broken Pokemon.
Yep.
It's strong. The ability to beat up with Terrakion, and also to surf with Terrakion.
Yep.
And block weakness policy if you prep for Justified and it goes surf instead. That sucks.
Yeah.
You've got Bisharp Bullet Punch into Terrakion for another weakness policy procer.
Yeah.
And then Rhydon. Rhydon is a Pokemon that I've seen used in the VBA for Season 1. And that thing is nothing to sleep on. You might look at its stats and, oh, it's quad weak to grass and to water and all that. That's fine and dandy. Don't overlook it when you're prepping for it, because that thing will hurt you.
We also know Tangela is strong because of Dan.
Oh, God, don't even get me started on Raid Powder, Eviolite Tangela. But no, yeah, I mean, looking at the team overall, you've got no fake out users, which I'm very pro fake out. I think fake outs extremely necessary to pivot right off the bat, turn one,
Right.
set yourself up. But other than that, I mean, you've got what, 3 or 4? You've got 1, 2, 3. You've got 3 ally switchers and Dragapult, Gardevoir, and Rotom-Bow.
Yep.
Everybody loves ally switch.
Oh yeah, fun move.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of good cores. I really, honestly, I don't see any way this team can make adjustments for the time being. I say ride it out, see how it goes. This is one
Yeah.
of the teams where I look at it overall and I go, yeah, I think this could do it.
Yeah,
There's no real things that you need to look at on the trade list for the time being.
for sure.
I just think it's overall solid.
Yeah. Also, I want to say just real quick, base 125 special attack is scary. 83 speed is good under Tailwind, which you have access to fast Tailwind. I usually would see a Magmortar pick and be like, you're dumb. I think it fits.
Yeah, no, I really do think Magmortar fits on this list.
Mm-hmm.
It gives that good core. It gives the Gyarados tangle of Magmortar
Mm-hmm.
for the Firewater Grass, and I like it.
Yeah. I like this team a lot.
Yeah, that thing hits like a fucking truck, my lord.
Yeah.
Ooh, 125. Let's go.
Also gets better coverage than people expect, so if you're fighting
Yep.
this team, make sure to look out for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So what are you thinking about the league overall?
Honestly,
Or at least your league division?
I think it's off to really a pretty strong start. Not as with all draft leagues, there aren't a ton of like perfect teams, but I think every team has a lot of potential, which is really impressive. And so if
especially for a low division of inexperienced drafters, there's a lot of stuff here that people picked up that the other divisions were like, oh, look at the Erie division picks, and you're like, yeah, now that I'm looking at the team, I realize why they're picking that stuff.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, as long as the coaches are open to assess what they should change and how to do it and are willing to do so, I think this is a really strong division, honestly.
I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm
Mhm.
excited to see how this is going to go.
Yeah.
I thought my team was broken at first, but after breaking down these teams, I don't think I'm anywhere near the top. I think I'm definitely middle of the pack at best. So I'm excited, honestly. I wish everybody in the Erie division and in the whole league best of luck.
Yeah.
Just remember, we're all friends. We're not here to trash talk each other. Me, Raz, and Joe, all of this is just, we're going over teams. If we said something that you think was wrong or you think I'm stupid for, because I do a lot of talking and I am kind of stupid, feel free to let me know. Explain to me why I'm wrong on something I said, and I'm all ears to it. Because I'm here to learn just like everybody else. I don't know everything.
Yeah, me too.
I'll be the first to hear that.
Yeah. I remember in the VBA, I saw the video from Theo and the admins, and they were saying stuff about my team. Not like, oh, they were talking shit. Like, no, they were just like saying stuff, and I was like, I think this is wrong. So like, I get that happens. I also certainly don't know everything. I'm sure there's stuff I overlooked. Please feel free to hit me up and let me know. I'm really excited to see how this goes. Definitely keeping an eye on this. And if you guys record and like make content, definitely post it, because I'm really excited to see these battles.
Absolutely. This is going to be a community that's going to just support each other. You and me, we're coming over from the VBA, which is 16 coaches, and that's about it. That's about the activity in the Discord. This is a server of about 50 people. So if you're putting out content, people are going to be excited. They're going to watch it. They're going to give you likes, comments, all that. And it gives you and your opponents ways to look back at the plays and correct yourself, which is what I do all the time. I don't record, but I love playing against people that do record because I can go back, watch that video, and go, well, damn, instead of doing this move, I could have done this instead, and it helps tremendously. I think that's one of the things that's made me a better player over time.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, man, it has been a hell of a time.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you for allowing me onto the new Raz channel.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Absolutely, man. I look forward to the next video. Will who do you think's gonna finish first, Superior or Huron?
Superior. We're gonna, if we get past Leaf, we're gonna get stuck on Tomb again.
Hey, let's go.
All right.
All right, bro.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, and I can't wait to make the next video.
Absolutely. I'll see y'all soon. Take care.
See you soon. Bye.